So if a simple picture could not be created by accident, imagine how much harder it would be to accidentally create over 300,000 beautiful kinds of plants with roots, veins, velvety petals, symmetrical patterns, fragrances, and the ability to convert sunlight into food. A nose that detects more than 1 trillion different types of smells. Ears that can hear the whispering of the wind. A brain that can store trillions of bytes of information. And a living soul that can feel things such as joy, peace, and love. Who can see the stunning beauty and marvelous wonders of the universe without believing that God is the designer of this world and of human mankind? Who can experience being filled with love, joy, peace, and hope without believing we were intentionally created with a purpose by a loving God and not on accident? Do you see? So in the last lesson, we talked about how recognizing God brings meaning and joy to learning. And that's because God is the creator.
Stop.
All right. In the last lesson, we talked about how recognizing God brings meaning and joy to learning. That's because God is the creator of everything we learn about, including each and every person who has lived throughout history. This is God's world. If you seek and listen, God will help you grow in knowledge and understanding and wisdom and in character. Remember we talked about this the other day, about how we were talking about in Scripture, like, are you going to gain knowledge and wisdom if you're not seeking God? No. So, but when we seek Him, we can gain knowledge and understanding and wisdom and in character. The study of history is a great way to gain these things. It makes sense to start this course with the very first people that God created. Who? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nikki and I am a veteran homeschool mom to 6 kids. Today's video is going to be all about history. So like I said, I'm a veteran homeschool mom, so I've been homeschooling all the way through. My oldest is going into 8th grade, and I've been schooling him, doing fun hands-on activities since he was 2 and 3 years old. So we've always done it. So I have actually used the Good and the Beautiful's older history course, year 1. And in that course, I thought it was really well done. My kids really enjoyed it. But now they have come out with a new and revised version of this course, and it is History Year 1, and this is the course book. And so today I'm going to give my thoughts and tell you guys how I'm going to use this to teach history for the upcoming 2025-2026 homeschool year. So go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed with your notifications turned on for future homeschool videos for our channel. So, like I said, we did the Good and the Beautiful History Year 1 before it was revised, and it was really well done. So my thoughts, we did a couple of lessons today, and so I'm just going to give my honest thoughts and kind of what I'm going to be doing as a mom who is going to be teaching 8th grader, an 8th grader, a 7th grader. I will have a 2nd grader for sure that will be using this curriculum, as well as little kids sitting around the table with it. So, my thoughts so far. So let's just go over like the table of contents. I personally loved that it started with the creation, because that is where history begins, right? God created the world and the earth and everything in it. And I think it's so important, like if they were in school, in a public school setting, they would not be taught creation. And so it is important that that is a part of history. So it goes through the ancient history, so the creation, and then Adam and his ancestors, and it goes all into, so there's 15 lessons that are just from the Bible alone. I will turn this around in a minute. Maybe I'll do that and show you a little bit of the table of contents. So then Unit 2 goes into the Middle Ages and the Renaissance. And then Unit 3 is the French and Indian War through the Revolutionary War. And Unit 4 is the Victorian era, the history of flight and the Cold War. So the way I plan to do our school year this year, which I've never actually done, is to break it down into 4 quarters. So Unit 1 will be completed in the first quarter, Unit 2 in the second quarter, and so on and so forth. So, and obviously we'll have a little wiggle room if I follow everything loosely, but that is the goal. This is good history. I will say that. I do love, so you also will have your supplies that you need for each lesson. So I love to go ahead and prepare those. We'll do a unit at a time and make sure I have everything. And I just keep it in a little caddy right here by our school stuff. And so I can just pull it out and everything is ready to go. So at the beginning of each lesson, it's just like most of their other curriculum. It has items needed. And with that, you're going to need your maps and imaging book, which is this. This comes with it, the maps and imaging book. You are going to need your timeline book, which I'll show you more about these later. And then you will also need, I already have it downloaded and ready to go on our iPad, the homeschool app for this, just so you're not scrambling around. And then each of your students, my second grader has their own book. And then my older two have their student explorers for the 7th and 8th grade only. So this one is for K through 2, and then the next one is 7th and 8th grade that I have. So it gives you the items that you need, and then it tells you exactly, read to the children. You read this to the children and you talk about it. What I do enjoy about this that was not in the older version, well, there's two things that I've noticed. First of all, in the older version, we had to print these. So that was super, it was just so much to keep up with, so much to prepare ahead of time. They're printed and ready and prepped for you in this new and revised one. I don't remember in the older version that they had a Let's Connect section. I really like that. So I read a little bit and then it has a Let's Connect. And so it asks you, it gets you guys talking, which of the 4 periods are you most excited to learn about and why? So then that kind of opens up the floor for some discussion time for you and your kids. And then you go on and you're going to read again. And then in this particular lesson, we played a video. And then it has another Let's Connect section. So I love that. It kind of reminds me, to go hand in hand with this, I'm going to use some of the Campfire Curriculum unit studies, which I'm not going to talk as much about in today's video, but I will share soon. But they have a Let's Connect section in theirs too, and I really, really love that. So I was happy to see that in here. And then it goes on, and so then you have a section from the maps and imaging book. And so you would set that out, read to the kids, show them this, and then you have another time where you sit down and you talk and you read things together. And then they have, so with the timeline book, there are all these stickers in the back of the book here. And it will prompt you when to put the sticker on the timeline. So that was they liked that. And then as we read some of the other stories, it had just a place. So it'll tell you when to put the sticker, and then it has another little timeline blurb where you can hey, pull your timeline out and you can see where this person was on the timeline. So they do have the student explorer activities. So for my younger child, just to give you an example of today's, the first lesson was very simple. In my opinion, this is my honest opinion, in my opinion, it's a little younger than what I would like for a second grader to have. Very simple, very basic, match kind of style. It took him maybe 2 seconds. And then the next one was color the garden, and then you have these prompts to cut out the animals and put them on. He didn't mind it, but I do feel like he could have done more. So I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do to supplement that. The older kids, I did enjoy theirs. I thought theirs was really well done. This is what theirs looks like. It was just going over creation, the different days here that you can see. And it gave a summary, and then I did the lesson extension. Am I going to do the lesson extensions for my 7th and 8th grader for every lesson? No. So today we did 2 history lessons, so I picked 1 extension for them to do and to complete. And that is also not something that we are going to do at the table together. We have quiet time every day after lunch, and so they will do their lesson extension during their quiet time, just to give them something to keep their hands busy if I choose for them to do that lesson extension. It is totally optional. Honestly, I like the thought process that the Good and the Beautiful was using here, but again, I feel like if we're going to take time to print stuff and put it in here, for 7th and 8th grade, it's a little dumbed down in my opinion. Maybe that's not the right word. That's being a little harsh. It's a little, not dumbed down. That would not be the word I would use. It's a little more childlike than I would like it to be for my 7th and 8th graders. And you can see this is kind of what I'm talking about. Like there's a picture with literally 2 fill in the blanks. Like Adam and Eve, we can overcome hardship and give thanks to God. So while the overall meaning of it is well, for 7th and 8th grade, I would have liked a little more kind of more grown up talked, you know what I mean? Like a little more older kid looking. There we go. And then now while I do think the lesson extensions are really, really well done, but then for lesson 2, they had a word search. So great. If my kids want to do a word search, great. If not, I'm not going to have them do anything extra that they don't want to do this year because their load's already pretty heavy. So like a biblical word search is not a priority for me. So that could have been left out. And that was so for lesson 2, it was the fill in the blank with the picture and a word search. So if they would not have had the lesson extension on genealogy, I felt like the explorers kind of were pointless because we covered everything that we talked about. So for that reason, that I feel like everything is a little bland as far as the workbooks goes. We're big fans of notebooking over here, right? So you can always supplement. That's the beauty of homeschool. I think this curriculum is solid. It is a great, great curriculum. My older kids, I think, feel like their workbooks are a little babyish. So we are going to notebook this year, and notebooking is just a way for them to retain the information that they learned. So while this was great, I want to make sure that they're retaining what they learned in history. So I have them do something like notebooking, and they write in their own information, their own facts that they learned today, and then they draw a picture to go with it. So that was my oldest. And then my 2nd grader, who is very artistic, you can see here, he's just starting on his. And then I will help him, I will write out what he wants me to write for him on his notebooking page. But that is a great way to dive a little deeper. And I feel like we get into some of these topics and the Explorer Guide does not cover enough because like I said, we've only done 2 lessons. Then I will even have them dig even deeper into the notebooking part of it and do more research on their own. So I do think it is really, really well laid out. I think that we are really going to enjoy this year. Let me flip back to some that aren't the Bible, and see how they've got some of this laid out. So reasons for revolution, I can tell. Oh, and they have little timeline tunnel cards that come with it that are really well done. And then they have history stories. So kind of if you've ever done the science units from them, the little hearts and hands, this is kind of what this reminds me of. They have history stories that are really beautifully illustrated that go along with that. So, and like I said, they really are really well done. Let me flip the camera around and show you guys, and I will kind of give you my thoughts while I show. So here is the history stories book for year 1, and you can kind of see the table of contents there. And then how beautiful, a lot of these pictures are illustrated. So they just have stories that go along with each one. And I will say on back in here, that is a very more realistic looking picture. You can see it kind of brings it to life a little more. And the stories look really, really well done. We've not dove into this section yet, but they are beautiful. And it is a great way for your middle schoolers to still have some picture book aspect to what they are learning. I really liked the illustrations and the pictures in this particular story. Okay, so while I do love the picture book aspect of it, again, I want to bring it to life in a more realistic way for my older kids. So I'm simply using a lot of this as a spine. Yes, we will read the stories, and yes, it is a great way to do like family history. But my kids are getting older, 7th and 8th grade, and so I'm on the hunt for some like more realistic things that I can print out and use to show them. And I know that they're going to love this, and I'm going to love this, but they are going to compare it to some of the Campfire Curriculum unit studies that we have used. And in those, they use real life pictures, real life scenes from like the events. Obviously, we don't have real life pictures of like the biblical side of it, right? So I think the illustrations for that are great. I think the illustrations for all of it are great. But as for me, and for our homeschool, we are going to add in more. So when I find those, and what I'm simply going to do is just go through the table of context here, the table of contents, and I'm just going to, like, for instance, like Queen Victoria and the British Empire. That will be so easy to find. Pictures of Queen Victoria, have them ready. I'm going to utilize my local library. I'm going to utilize the homeschool scholarship that we have here in Florida, praise the Lord. And I'm going to order realistic books for them to have, like a living history type of book. I'm also going to add in some chapter books, some read alouds for this. I don't have it all planned out. Like I said, this video is kind of on a whim. We did 2 lessons today, and these are just my honest thoughts. And, you know, as a veteran homeschool mom, I can look at a curriculum and do 2 lessons and kind of see what I need to add, what we're going to take out, what we're going to supplement, and kind of start like getting the ideas flowing for our school year and what I want it to look like, right? But yeah, I mean, overall, I think it's going to be a great history spine, and we're going to add a lot of stuff to it. I will definitely turn this around here, and we've also got cards that go with each one. And again, these cards are beautifully illustrated. The good and the beautiful, when I say their illustrations, like the picture book style, their illustrations are so beautifully done. It is just, we want more of a like, we want it to come to life. So to come to life for older kids, sometimes you just need to supplement it a little bit, and there's nothing wrong with that. But they do have, you know, these cards that you can cut out for different things that go along with the lesson. So I'm just going to take some time now. I'm going to turn the camera around, and I'm going to kind of show you guys what some of this stuff looks like, give you an overview. But that is my honest thoughts on this curriculum and how I'm going to use it, what I'm going to do to supplement it. Oh, also on this thought, we are adding in, I have just like had all this creative like stuff go off in my brain lately. Like at night when I'm up feeding the newborn, I'm just like writing away. And one of the things we are going to do for our weekly rotation, because we don't do screens Monday through Friday, and that's kind of like a, you know, to them, I mean, it's great for me because there's no fussing and fighting all week. But since we don't do that, I'm trying to kind of get creative with how we can add a little bit in, but make it educational. And so one of the things I'm going to add in this year are documentaries. And I'm going to create a worksheet, and they're going to have a documentary notebook, and so they're going to watch a documentary. So I'm going to go through a lot of these from the table of contents from this. So if you're using this and you want to see what I'm doing, like what I'm going to add on, please comment below and let me know, and I'll be happy once I plan it all to make an updated video of this, giving you like links to the documentaries that I'm doing, provide a PDF for the worksheet that I'm creating to go with this. I plan on supplementing some art lessons in here with that go in with this curriculum. And so my brain is just swarming of ideas now that we've kind of got on the track and kind of got it started today. So if you're interested in any of that, let me know. But go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Comment if you guys have any fun history stuff that you can think of, you know, if you've got this in the mail and you can think of that I can add to it, especially to make middle school a little more fun, you know. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's video. I'm going to end this video out by showing you some clips of what I've already talked about today. So thanks for being here in this space, and I pray that this blesses you. Have a great day, mamas. So here is the history year 1, and you can see here are the units and the table of contents like I talked about. And then moving along, it's like an about the course. And then we've got, I shared with you the supplies needed. And then Unit 1 is your ancient history. And so this is like what an overview of one of the lessons look like. You have the lesson number up here, the name, the title, the items that you will need, and then the actual lesson and that's what I was talking about, the Let's Connect. And then over here, it is short and sweet and simple and to the point, which I really do like that. And then we also did lesson 2 today. Again, items needed, bullet points. This is the little icon for the timeline that I was talking about. So yeah, I really do like it so far. And then it prompts you when to do the lesson extensions, what to do there. Utilize your history timeline book, which that is this here. So this is a hard laminated page that folds out. And you can kind of see we already put the first sticker on there. And then this one also folds up and out. And then from there, it is just page by page. It is a lot of timeline facts. So with a glossary at the back. So that is nice too for reference. And then the last thing, well, actually not the last thing, I have 2 more things. So this is the Maps and Images book. So lots of maps. We will also pull out our different maps than this, just to, again, bring it more to life than they have here. But the pictures are very good. I do like that they have like real life imaging in a lot of these. So you can see like it starts to get a little more mature in the picture book here for references. And I really do like that. You can kind of see I'm just giving like a quick overview here. These are the images here. And then these are the hard cards that you will cut out for different lessons to have. And then I guess principles, all these go with the lessons. So I haven't had really a lot of time to flip through those. And then just so you can see, this is the better view of the notebooking here. And we've got this one here that the oldest did. And then just a little glimpse into the history activity book for the younger kids. So yeah, it's just a lot of coloring and cutting, and I actually may give this off to my kindergartner because she would probably really enjoy this more than my 2nd grader would. And then here is an overview of the Student Explorer for the 7th and 8th grade. So I do feel like the more you get into it, it's looking like it's a little more like realistic and kind of brings it to life. So yeah, I hope this was super helpful and gives you a little glimpse into the curriculum itself.